family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A in LA, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, fam, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. All right, fam, let's get this episode rolling. So we have a good one. So we're going to be reviewing a couple of offerings from Guncrafters. Now, many of you may not have heard of Guncrafters. It's understandable. Just know they have been making guns now for decades, literally. They're more known in kind of the 1911 space. In recent years, they've started putting forth more 2011 style offerings. I reviewed one of their guns about a year ago. It did very well on the 2A NLA scale. Today, we're looking at two of their more recent offerings, and that is their Guncrafters 4.25 inch ported. It's got that V port on it. And we're looking at their 5-inch model, which is also V-ported. So the way we're going to approach this is kind of the way I did it when I reviewed Cosent's new drop about a year ago or so, where I looked at their 3.5, their 4.25, and 5-inch. I just did kind of a blanket review for the line. So we're going to kind of do that with the two Guncrafters models as well. If you've never seen a 2A NLA review, it's very simple. 0 points is hot garbage. 100 points is the best possible gun in the history of the world. Never had a gun get a 0. Never had a gun get 100. One can always hold out hope. Right? If you get an overall score somewhere between 50 and 60, that's kind of a right down the middle gun. Very reliable, gonna go bang every time without a lot of fills and thrills. If you get something like 60 to 70, okay, that gun maybe has a feature or two that distinguishes itself from kind of the mean, right? If you got something 70, 80, okay, well now you're cooking with a little bit of gas. That gun has probably several very positive aspects to it that really make it stand out. If you got something 80 to 89, okay, now you're talking kind of like best in class guns, particularly 85 to 89. And if you got something 90 or above, grail gun status. All right, fam, first up, fit and finish. I will go ahead and I'll put the specs of the two guns up there so you can see them. Here's what I would say. Both of these guns kind of visually kind of harken back to the 1911 roots. As you see here, no full dust cover on the 4.25 or the 5-inch, reminiscent of Nighthawk, reminiscent of 1911s, right? That said, though, the quality is undeniable. There is no give. Slide to frame fit on both these guns is excellent. Barrel fitment is excellent. Very smoothly machined. No hot spots anywhere to be found. The grip texture is very, very good. Same thing with the 5-inch. Just very, very well done. Very well, perfectly sprung. We'll get into shootability a little bit more in a minute, but red dirt triggers in both the guns, and so and we'll certainly get into trigger weight and trigger pull, but fit and finish, very, very well done. We're going to give these guns both 14s out of 15 for fit and finish. All right, fam, next up, reliability. Put about 1,000 rounds through each of these guns. I'm trying to remember how many malfunctions I had. I think I had like none. There were no malfunctions, and I had a similar experience when I shot the prior gun as well. Just really, really good experience relative to reliability with Guncrafters. I think, you know, again, when you've been making guns for 2 decades, then yeah, you probably figure out a thing or two. So reliability, we're going to give these two bad boys 15 out of a possible 15. Next up, durability. Look, fam, quality guns, steel slides, steel frames, aluminum grips, aluminum mag weld, just really well done, durable gun. I believe this one's DLC coated and this is a Cerakote. I'll confirm that, and if I'm wrong, I'll put it up there, but I believe that's the case. And so, look, durability, I think also, you know, if you take care of them, they're going to take care of you. Durability, we're going to give both of these guns a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam, next up, trigger. Red Dirt trigger, as I mentioned earlier. You guys know I love Red Dirt trigger. I think it's just a shade below Atlas and certainly below Infinity, but still an excellent trigger. I'll let you take a look at it on the 5-inch. The two guns are very similar. Just a little take up, clear, defined wall, crisp, clean break, reset, very short reset. Yeah, it's good triggers in both these guns. I'll put up the pull weights on both of these. Typically speaking, though, when it's a Red Dirt trigger, barring somebody doing something spectacular, it's going to get a good score. It typically gets a 14 out of 15, and that's what these are going to get for trigger. 14 out of 15 for trigger. All right, fam, let's get into accuracy. So these are both heavy-duty bushing barrels. So not bull barrel, but bushing barrels. Both ported in that V-port pattern. It's like you've got 2 V-ports on both sides of both of these guns. And so, look, fam, the guns were flat. They were soft shooting. You know, I had good groupings. If I have pictures up of the groupings, I'll put that up for you. I felt that the guns were accurate, right? Are they Atlas accurate, you know, Haze accurate, Rafferty accurate, Venom accurate? No, they're not that. But they are good, very good. And so for accuracy, we're going to give both of these a 9 out of a possible 10. Next up, ergonomics. Look, fam, I'm not going to front. I love these grips. These grips, I mean, they feel really good in the hand. They're tacky enough, but they're not cheese grater-ish. Even with the Cerakote on them, it still feels really good. Same for the 4 1/4. I don't know who makes the grips, whether they make them themselves or whether they get contracted out, but ergonomics, I felt, were really solid. We're going to give it a 9 out of a possible 10 for ergonomics. All right, fam, these next 2 categories we're going to lump together: aftermarket support, maintenance, and upkeep. Look, there's a ton of aftermarket support out there for the 2011 market. 2011s are kind of, you know, your exotic cars of the gun industry. They can be temperamental, but like I said, a lot of rounds through these, no issues whatsoever. Ran a lot of different ammo through them. It speaks to the reliability of them. But you still have to break them down, clean them every 1,000 rounds or so, or a little light touch up after a range session, and you'll be good. Keep some oil in them, you'll be good to go. So look, aftermarket support, 4 out of 5. Maintenance and upkeep, 4 out of 5. All right, fam. Next up, affordability. Yeah. I'll put the MSRPs of the 2 guns up there so you can see them. They are not inexpensive. You know, most quality 2011s are not. And so it kind of is what it is. They are expensive firearms, sub 6K still, but still expensive. So affordability, we're going to give this a 1 out of a possible 5. All right, fam, last but not least, flex. Is Instagram going to go crazy, or your boy's going to be like, damn, yeah, they are, fam. Look, I think they're attractive guns. Now, I think there's a couple of things, and I'm going to do an episode that kind of talks about this as well. There are a couple of things. If this were done in a vacuum, right? If these were the only guns at this price point available, I think that people would be all over them. The problem is you have to compare these guns with other guns that are priced similarly between like $5,000 and $6,000. And so, look, I think that while these guns are probably worth that, the question is, would you rather have something else at that price point? And there's so many options out there, right? You've got the Dark Forges race of the world that are in that range. You got the Cardinal Arms that are in that range. You've got the Fowlers that are in that range. You got the Race City Defense that are in that range and lower. You've got Cosins that are in that range and lower priced. Am I choosing this over them? I think that's the issue. But flex, we're going to give them some love. 4 out of a possible 5 for flex. All right, fam, you add all of that up, you get an 87 out of a possible 100 points. Look, fam, I told you, anything 85, 89, you're talking about a best-in-class gun. And I got to say, fam, they shot like that. They are like that. If you got one of these Guncrafters guns, you have a very, very good 2011. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got a 2011 that can go up against any of them. I think the issue that Guncrafters has, and a lot of people are going to have, is where does it fall into an oversaturated marketplace, right? If you had like the Cosins and the RC9s that are kind of in that 4 to 5 range, and Atlas was, you know, 6,000, 6,500 or more, what it is, and they were the only kind of gun in that like $5,000 space, then I would say, okay. But you've got Guncrafters, you got AAF, which has a very similar look and feel, right? And feel. You've got Cardinal Arms, which scored in the 90s. Their non-ported gun scored at 92. Their ported gun scored at 93, right? And they're similarly priced. And so it's going to be hard, I think, for Guncrafters to carve out a niche. I think their niche is kind of guys who are looking for an older school feel. Now, I think Guncrafters is coming out with guns that's going to have a full dust cover. They're coming out with a bull barrel gun. I know they're working with Covert. Hopefully, they're going to come out with something that will wow you, right? Even if they, with a full dust cover and an updated porting system or whatever, I don't know if that gets them the traction that they need. They need something really, really special. But I'm not here really to do market analysis for Guncrafters, right? I'm here to just tell you about the gun. And it is a phenomenal, they both are phenomenal shooting guns. If you got a Guncrafter 4 1/4 or a 5-inch at Covert, you're going to be happy with it. You're going to be happy with it. It's going to be flat. It's going to be fast. It's going to have good trigger. It's going to have good machining. It's going to be very, very well done. It's going to be durable. It's going to last you a lot of time. There's a reason why it scored 87 out of a possible 100. It's in that kind of best in class category. So it shoots like a best in class gun. And so shout out to Guncrafter, shout out to Covert for letting me borrow these two guns to do a review on. I'll be looking out for future offerings from Guncrafters and future offerings and collaborations that Covert does with them. All right, that's it for this episode, fam. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.